Masicka and Tommy Lee Sparta have now reached the latest round of their clash, and Masicka has finally chosen to do something that nobody thought he would. Brawlingly and openly diss Vybz Kartel. In fact, that appears to be what majority of this song is about. But what exactly did he say, and why is it that this decision may actually be his biggest mistake so far in the clash? Well, to understand this, we need to go to the start of the song. Without even so much as an introduction, the first thing he says is, "Pick up everything and you another man youth. Pussy, you a move like Kartel girl," saying that Tommy Lee is trying so hard to be under Vybz Kartel, following his lead, defending him, and picking up all of his own problems onto his head as if he were his own son, and then goes on to further that by saying him a move like Kartel girl, where Masicka is basically saying him and Tommy had no problems before this. The fact that he would jump up and start an entire war just because of what's going on between him and Vybz Kartel is another level of meat riding. Brain jump up, no carnival, blood clot Browning and a Barbie doll, recitina the demon head, go call ya God, making reference to a Browning rifle, saying yo ma have a Browning fear and is not a girl. And when he presses it on the demon's head, he will be so afraid for his life that he will beg to God, the same God he does not serve. Artist box you up, yeah coward, which could either be referring to Vybz Kartel treating him like a bitch, or saying that there was another artist who physically assaulted him behind the scenes. Either way, he doesn't specify and the line ends there, so I'm not really sure what the point of bringing that up was, but whatever. Boy for dead, I from the killer go for that. Me wally glock and bust a face, I saw we hot. No baccarat, a copper shot a spray, making reference to the luxury cologne baccarat, saying that he will make something spray and it won't be cologne. No zappa that, a head a chopper AK, the glock and referring to the mosquito zapper in Tommy Lee's last music video, saying that unlike Tommy Lee who only has that as a weapon, he has real AKs, and furthering that narrative by saying, me killer them no play. Pussy, what you know about Kingston crime? A B, saying that yo, as a mobile man, how you fear talk about Kingston crime and which man down there so don't trust me and who narrate me from who narrate me? What you know about that? What you know about Grand Spin? What you know about none of them places? But here's where things start to get interesting. He follows up that line by saying, Fisher program them, man strength them a walk off, cut off a boy head, and we are no talker. Now who is the man who has been programming this clash from behind the scenes and has not said a word? Well, there's no other than the boss man himself, Vybz Kartel. And in the first line when he said him a move like Kartel girl, that's basically dissing Tommy Lee, but no, is the first time he's officially dissed Vybz Kartel directly as a person. And if you thought he was being vague, in the very next line he actually triples down on it by saying, a faggy sharag that, and we say no Sparta, fight my own a war, man dem a cuss off, brawlingly and directly calling Vybz Kartel fagisha, which from what I've heard is what Mavado called him during their clash back in the day, turning the disrespect up about 5 notches toward the guy who used to be seen as his elder. He then continues to cut the link even further by saying, a fire blood clot steel, this and a water, a friend killer pussy them there, win a harbor, calling Vybz Kartel a friend killer, making reference to either the fact that him and Lizard used to be good, or the fact that in general the incidents that Masicka probably knows about that we don't involve people who were once a part of his own team, basically saying that Kartel has no loyalty to anyone around him and he does not respect that, which is why he goes on to say the very next line and completely sever any ties they may have had before. Them can't see one side pan no Gaza. Pussy, you fear me like you fear your father, publicly disassociating himself from the Gaza camp once and for all, and reaffirming the fact that Tommy Lee is doing all of this because he's afraid of him, just like his dad, who is probably Vybz Kartel in this context. Strapping on my palm, my fire Kanye body gone, walk up on him, slap it in him face and carry on. And a pillar pop in him head, a shot, the nozzle warm, making yet another drug reference, which I mean, I'm not gonna lie, like, I'm pretty tired of this. I've already discussed why this is a losing strategy at least 3 to 4 times by now. The man literally did a brag and boast about what kind of pill him pop and how much him mix with him Molly and Henny and all of them things that in the last song. I don't think he cares. Why do we keep doing this? But then I guess he proceeds to respond to some part of Earth Day by saying December 4th, a real goat around me barn. Catch it pan a little stage when it a perform. Which I mean, doesn't really respond to the diss track, but I guess because the birthday thing was significant in this whole war, then he was just saying a goat was born on my birthday, which he's just calling himself the goat. I mean, Alright, moving on. Guys, I'm really trying here. Like, I'm really trying. Trust me. Bungs out a brain. From me say guns out a aim. And left blood out a stain. Yo, man, not gonna lie. This is probably the first song in the whole clash I have just read out so many lyrics without having to break them down. Like, I've skipped over a lot of lyrics, bro. This is just general violence. I'm not really hearing any actual disrespect. But finally, we come across at least a little something when he says, gun no run out of flame. Boy run out of place where them say them claim. Which, for the 5th time again, this is Tommy Lee for running out of Mobe when Tommy Bean addressed that in the last song and the man say, yo, show me who capable for run me out of Mobe. Like, why you tell me who? Call them name and we will see. And you just proceed to say the same thing again. So, I mean, I don't really know like what kind of reply this is, but alright, moving on. Again, bust out your head and lend them some fame. Pussy, them a follow back a done, make them fame. Them group up and shoot up same way. I mean, I feel like that was pretty self-explanatory. Blood clot, wild crocodile, no lizard, gun charge, every killer ride side away mad. Which is a fairly decent comparison saying, yo, you feel like say you can't kill me, me a crocodile, me and a lizard. Of course, for my non-Jamaican viewers, lizard being the guy who Kartel deleted from the world and went to prison for. Masicka is saying, yo, I'm a crocodile nigga, you can't do that with me. And now things actually start to get a bit interesting again when he says, remember you done this bounty, a bounty bring him a road, loyalty not hard. Una soon get this, I just time. Next time when you beg me collab, I just who in your head. Making reference to the fact that when he just came into the game, Vybz Kartel was once under the leadership of dancehall legend Bounty Killer. And Bounty is the one who even put him on the map in the first place. Yet still, Vybz Kartel was the same one who turned around and dissed Bounty years later. Masicka is saying that just like he could do that to his own boss, he will be doing that to you. Just like he's doing it to me right now. It's just a matter of time before the same fate reaches you. And then goes on to speak to Kartel directly. Addy dog, look like you're afraid of me. So you send out a fish and him get a body bag. Kill Nyame Lee in the road and brag. A Kartel bitch that, a women zigzag, accusing Vybz Kartel of being afraid of him, so much so that he would send out Tommy Lee, his minion, in order to do his dirty work for him. Which I'm not going to lie, maybe 10-15 years ago that would have been a crazy accusation, but the truth is, current Kartel, I don't know if he could warn Masicka, just being realistic. I do think sending out Tommy Lee would have been the right decision, because the worst thing would be for Kartel to embarrass himself in front of everybody. People already have enough criticism about his current songs versus his old work. And then he gets into arguably the funniest part of the song when he sends a random stray to somebody who literally has nothing to do with this. Enough artists may send go retire, enough artists we send for go vlog. Making reference to one of his most public beefs and enemies, an artist slash producer named DeMarco, who is now mostly known for his opinions and takes on music rather than actually making music himself. And this is presumably because DeMarco has of course been very vocal about his opinions on the clash since, as Masicka said, he is now a vlogger. He then stops DJing and starts to speak a few more words about how Gaza loves to beg him for strength, and then the song ends. And I just have to say that despite all of the intense pressure on Masicka to deliver with this song, after being placed on the ropes by Tommy Lee in Crown Clown, and the entire internet turning against him and having all of these massive expectations placed on him to reply to everything in the last diss track, based on everything we just saw and his performance on this song, I can confidently say that he absolutely did not do any of that. This song was the weakest, most boring, substanceless listen of this entire clash. Despite the fact that he finally decided to diss Vybz Kartel, not only were the disses not even that disrespectful, calling him a fish and maybe saying he's disloyal, but my main issue is this song quite literally did not respond to a single thing in all of Crown Clown. In fact, after everything we just talked about in this video, I can't even say that he really dissed Tommy Lee at all. DeMarco got more disrespect in this song than the actual person he's clashing with. And because of this fact, I genuinely, and I cannot believe Masicka has led me to say something like this, but I genuinely do not think Tommy Lee needs to reply. Not because I think he should take the high road and just claim the victory just like that, no. But because there is literally nothing to reply to. There's nothing. What is he gonna say? Right here in this song, Masicka basically forfeited the war. And yes, you finally called Vybz Kartel's name. Cool, people think you're brave. But the only reason you ended up doing this after literally 4 whole songs, mind you, is because there was so much pressure to do so. You even had niggas in the comment section saying, you can hear the fear in his voice when he says Kartel's name. And I'm not saying that that's true, but I am saying that it does not have the same impact that it would have if you had just chosen to do it on your own. Because personally, as far as I'm concerned right now, this clash is over. Right now, I bet a Tommy Lee go reply to Joshi, cause at least his song had something of substance to say. And even though I was extremely bored listening to this song, trying to find anything of substance that could actually be replied to, one thing that just could not stop annoying me was the fact that as much as I have always been a fan of songs like Whites and Mute, and I actually had no issue with Masicka's quote-unquote one flow, after hearing basically the same diss track 4 times in a row with the exact same flow, cadence, beats, and honestly at this point the same lyrics and damn near not an ounce of creativity, I genuinely feel like I never want to hear this song again. In the last video, I said I believed in Masicka, that even though people are siding against him, he could turn it all around. But this song was an insult to the faith that I had in his ability to do so. Because if you really think about it, Masicka had every advantage and every reason for the public to be on his side. He's the bigger artist, he's the underdog that the system is trying to fight out. 100 man a group up against him. He's never had any dirt on his name, and from the perspective of a fan base, he is younger and more tapped into the new generation who controls all the social media stuff that makes things popular. Tommy Lee is basically an old man to these kids. They would have had no problem bashing him if he was losing the clash. And on top of this, he has actual dirt on his name that can be used against him. And on top of that, unlike Masicka, you could genuinely say he is submitting to Vybz Kartel's leadership for real, like him actually do that. So there are so many things to diss him about. Yet still, despite having all of the advantages of a war in his favor, because of the lack of creativity in this art that he has been dropping, Masicka has lost the public perception and has honestly, and it's so sad to say this, but has honestly demonstrated that maybe, just maybe, he is not capable of defending the crown he sought after so badly. And I am not saying this to hate, I am saying this as a fan who has been let down. I laugh because there are genuinely people who hear me say things like this and think I'm biased toward Tommy Lee Sparta, despite the fact that I have never really sat down to meds Tommy Lee's music outside of when I go to parties. Yet still, you have me saying that this nigga is dog walking you who I actually listen to. And I wouldn't be biased either way because I don't know any of you personally, and me no love man, I don't care. But I'm just saying, if I had to have leaned to one side, it would have probably been yours, and you let me down. And honestly, I don't even know if I care enough to cover this clash anymore. It may just lose interest, dog. And me'll do it for the fans them, you know. But dog, this not even interesting again to me, bro. You let me down. But again, one thing I don't like to do is speak too soon. And so we're just gonna have to see how this whole thing unfolds. Maybe it get back interesting again. And so if you want to learn the clash from the very start and see how things develop to this point, watch the video I made breaking down the full backstory. Subscribe to the channel for more updates. And as always, the dance hall has been decoded.